Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwadner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the great pleasure of meeting with Taj Nguyen. He's Managing Director for Canada for Board International. Welcome, Taj.
Pleasure to be here, Gerhard. Thank you.
You are passionate about sales performance management. Could you define the term SPM for me?
Yeah, so sales performance management is more of a concept than a product per se. And SPM, as the acronym is defined, is more of a consolidation of products. And typically throughout the year, you have a lot of activities that are going on that are feeding into your sales organization. Things like sales capacity planning, how many salespeople do I need to hit my targets, territory and quota management, how are you defining your territory, segmenting them, and distributing the geographies or the accounts to your sales folks that's fairly and equitably. And lastly, forecasting. Forecasting is the bane of every sales leader's existence. How do I create that forecast that's meaningful and dependable and defendable, where the CRO and CFO can rely on that forecast that you produce?
When you look at large enterprises right now, what are their biggest challenges they're facing with SPM?
So we recently did a survey asking organizations, how many technology sets do they use to drive their revenue operations? And a majority of them stated that they use anywhere between 4 to 5 systems, which creates data silos and also creates disconnected data sets, which makes it difficult then for organizations to truly understand the true nature of their prospect and customer base and what activities they need to drive where. So you need that aggregated data set to really drive that activity. Typically, sales leaders will go into these disparate systems or these niche products that solve specific pain points, and they have to collect all this data, aggregate it in some type of an Excel spreadsheet, put some structure around it, and then apply some rudimentary analytics to make some key decisions. That process is wrought with inefficiencies and it's time consuming. So I would say, technology sprawl is probably the biggest challenges that most organizations face when it comes to sales performance management.
You've been in that space for a long time. What would you consider the key drivers that lead to sales performance management transformation?
So I think the key drivers are understanding your key performance indicators or KPIs. That is probably the one most important element of driving the transformation in SPM. Understanding the data behind it and then creating the KPIs that you need to drive your business. So a lot of times we help our organizations understand their KPIs or create their KPIs as it pertains to sales performance management. And we do that by analyzing their historical data set to really understand, what are the trends and the patterns so that we can exploit those successes or avoid the risks that have happened in the past. And ultimately, what you have to do is you have to almost work in reverse, right? So you have to first understand where are all those data sets, then we drive the processes and create the workflows to drive towards those KPIs, right? So that's the most important step, is really understanding, where are the processes in the workflow once you've kind of identified your data sets, and then you're driving and creating your KPIs so that you can, move towards them.
So it seems to me that Board has created a platform that is structured in a way that it improves efficiency, but also eliminates a lot of errors that can be in the system. Can you share a success story with me that sort of explains how everything comes together?
I mean, the biggest success story that I can share is what I went through when I took over the Canadian region as the managing director. So when I came into the organization as a net new region, historically, we've always been set up based on geos or territories. And what I wanted to do was really go to a named base and a strategic account based approach. Now, in order to do that, you really have to analyze, your historical data to understand, where have you been successful so that you're selecting the right key accounts where you can drive success. So we were able to kind of go into the Board SPM platform, create the algorithms on, key revenue bands, making sure that we're selecting the verticals, analyzing the historical data so that the accounts that we're selecting are going to be within our ideal customer profile. I was able to quickly go in there and select and filter on accounts to quickly assign the territory, something that would typically take, probably weeks from an exercise standpoint. And even then, you probably wouldn't be able to do it as efficiently and as effectively as what we can do when you have a SPM solution like Board. In my opinion, one of the biggest challenges that sales organizations face is, the inequitable territories or accounts in an organization, right? And, you have two scenarios where you may have some salespeople that have too much opportunity, where you're missing out on efficiencies of driving, the close process because of volume. And then on the other hand, you have certain salespeople that not have enough opportunity, which then drives them away from the organization and they end up leaving. So creating equitable and fair territories is probably the most critical element. And we were able to kind of leverage Board SPM by creating the algorithms and key drivers to select those accounts and quickly distribute to our sales reps.
It really brings the fun back into managing a sales team because you remove a lot of uncertainties.
You create a fair playing ground and everybody's driving towards the accounts that they should be driving towards based on your past successes and your strengths of your organization.
So if anyone that is listening, if you like this, hit the subscribe button because we have more interviews coming with Taj. And anybody who wants to learn more, go to board.com. Thank you, Taj.
Thank you, Eric.